One.
Well, hello and welcome to Music City Mix. I am Chris Wilhite. This is Donnie Nolan. We are your hosts on this journey through everything Middle Tennessee. So, we're going to cover everything from real estate to renovations to sports to politics. If it happens in the Middle Tennessee area, we are going to talk about it, all, of course, while enjoying a nice glass of bourbon. So, pull up a chair, crack open a bottle, and let's get this thing started. So, for the first time since we started doing this, Donnie and I are actually drinking something different than each other. I mean, I don't know why that's a big thing,
So
but hey,
disappointed in
apparently
you.
it's a thing. Donnie,
I
what
don't
are
even
you?
know who you are. I'm drinking Eagle Rare. Eagle Rare.
So, been there, done that. Me personally, I have got some Weller Antique 107. I'd started the night off. We were both on a podcast earlier on called Whiskey and Wisdom After Dark, which you guys should absolutely go look that up and check that out. It's a great time. It's a little less restrictive. We talk a little bit more like we talk in real life. But yeah, Weller Antique 107. It's a fantastic bourbon. It is great on the palate. It is great on, how some of those some bourbons taste different.
Don't say what you said on Whiskey and Wisdom.
I'm not saying.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
I'm
Drinking
on the front of the tongue. Some bourbons taste great on the back of the tongue. Weller Antique 107 tastes great all over your mouth.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I actually was drinking some George Dickel 15-year store pick from a local distillery or a local liquor store. And then I moved over to Eagle Rare. But I've been at it for a while. So good luck. There we go.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So Donnie has been doing a great job lately of going out and tasting some of the local eateries. He has been going out to Martin's Barbecue, to Fu Lin's. He went to one today that is, I think there's a TikTok video for it, but tell me about it.
Yardbirds. By far the best place I've been to locally. I will say this. We are now 2 hours past, and my nose from that habanero chicken is still running. At first, when I had it, I'm not gonna lie. I gave you the review. If you go to our TikTok, Music City Mix podcast on TikTok, you can see me. I ordered 3 things because I knew I was going to have my kids tonight. My boys, they love hot chicken. They do as much as I do. So I was like, I'm going to get the Chipotle, which is the 4 rated, the 0, which is the country fried chicken, and the habanero, which is the 7. They have a Trinidad Scorpion, which is 10. I didn't get that. I eat the habanero. Oh, I had the Chipotle first. I had the Chipotle on tacos. Man, it was great. Like taste, flavor. It's by far the best rating I've given so far. I think I gave it an 8.5. It was, and I'm not a big taco person, but man, that thing just killed it. I'm more of a chicken tender guy.
Yeah.
I have the chicken tenders next, which is the habanero. That's the hotter one. I eat a bite. I'm like, man, that's really, really good. Eat another bite. Man, that's amazing. 8.4. Eat a bite without the ranch. I'm sitting there and I'm about to pull out the chicken poutine, which is like gravy, potatoes, chicken, but it's Southern fried chicken. And all of a sudden, that habanero like hits like back here, like in the back of your throat. And I'm like, whoa, I'm sweating. Let me grab that milk that I got over here. I had to kill the camera. I was sweating, or my nose is running. It was hot on the backside. But it wasn't a bad hot. I don't want a hot that's just hot. Yeah. I want that flavor. And this is the first time second time we've done Nashville hot chicken. The first time was a place called Maniacs, and it was not hot. It was very disappointing. And I even say that.
I really think we ought to do especially since you've been doing it and I don't have to do it, we really ought to do
Well,
some
thank you. I appreciate your help on
of,
this.
of straight up Nashville hot chicken places. So, you've got some really big names here in the Nashville of the area. You got Party Foul. You've got Hattie B's. You've got, let's just be honest. You could make an entire series just off of Nashville hot chicken.
Yep.
And I would really love to see that. I would love to see you go out and do some, start, Party Foul is probably my favorite place in Nashville to eat, period, because they've got such a wide array of things.
No, it's true. It's true. And
Yeah.
and that's what I started to do. Some people were like, dude, how are you doing reviews and you're not doing hot chicken? I'm like, okay, I'll give a hot chicken every so often, but I also want to showcase, man, we did a place called Brothers Burger Joint. Had a double cheese, double bacon burger, and it's an artisan burger. Man, that thing was really, really good. I think I gave it was well over an 8. And I'm not, if I'm going to give over a 9, it's probably going to have to be steak or salmon. It's got to have something with a lot of flavor.
Salmon? Did you just put an L in that word?
Salmon? Yes, I did.
Salmon.
I need
in New York.
I need no bread on my 9s. And hey, everybody's different. I don't mind saying my palate is different than your palate. I want flavor that isn't breaded. I don't want the breaded flavor. I love chicken tenders. Love them. But I don't think I can give a 9.5 on a chicken tender because it's breaded. I could give a 9.5 on a rib.
Oh, you can. Come on.
I could give a
those
9.5
breaded
on
chicken tenders are going to hold that sauce. They're going to hold that whatever they toss them in. That's going to hold it in there. You're going to really be able to pull the flavor out of those breaded chicken tenders over the grill.
But that's the thing. I want it to have more flavor outside of the bread. Does that make sense? And I mean, sure. Hey, I've had Prince's. Prince's is one of the Nashville's top. I've had Hattie B's. If you haven't had Hattie B's, I mean, they're what's Nashville's famous for. I mean, Nashville literally is known off Hattie B's and Prince's. I've had Reds. There was a little place. I don't even know if it's still there. It was on Dickerson. I cannot remember the name of it. Golly, I wish I could remember the name of that place. It was a little bitty hot chicken place, and man, had great hot chicken.
Let's do this.
But I'm going to keep doing them. I'm going to keep doing them.
I say this, look, the next week or the week after, one of the two. Let's do this together. I won't make you to do this by yourself. Let's do Party Foul, Hattie B's, and Prince's. Let's do the 3 of them, and
that's the top 3, right?
Yeah, and
would most people say that's the top 3?
We'll do their 3. We'll do their mild, medium, hot. So I know.
Listen, I'm not doing the hottest.
Well, no, Party Fouls is like poultry guys.
Poultry guys. Right.
I've had that before.
I've had it.
The flavor was great, but God,
no, it wasn't. It was not great. Come on now.
No. It tasted really good, but it was so hot that my ears were popping. It was ridiculous. So I don't want to do the hottest. I want to do a mild, a medium, and a Nashville hot.
I'll give you a Poltergeist story. I had the Poltergeist before, maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. And I was like, man, it didn't have flavor for me. It just made me hurt. I took my boys, my 11-year-old boys at the time, I think they were about 9. And we went to Poltergeist. We went to Party Foul. And my son's like, I'm going to get a Poltergeist. I'm like, yeah, you're not. You're dumb. And he's like, I'm going to get hot. Because they like hot. I mean, they do. They really like hot. And he's like, I'm going to get 1 Poltergeist. I'm like, okay. All right. Whatever you want. Bring him a milk. Give him a Poltergeist. Well, it comes with a little toothpick with a little flag on it that shows you that it's the bad one. So my other son takes the flag out and they kind of mess with it. And then, it's on their hands. They're wiping their fingers or whatever. And picks up and he takes a bite. And he's like, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. It's not so bad. And then he goes to the bathroom and I'm like, yeah, it was pretty bad, wasn't it? He's like, I mean, it wasn't that bad. I just need, I need to wash my mouth out. I was like, okay, whatever, buddy. So we eat our meals and I got hot there. I got the hot.
Nashville hot.
Nashville hot. And we eat, everybody's happy. He doesn't finish his plate. I'm like, well, I'm going to have a couple of his wings. And I pick one up and I bite. I eat wings, not the drums. I pop both of the bones up. I dip it in ranch and then I eat it. I eat most of it. There's probably this much of the meat left. And as soon as it hits my tongue, I realize that boy did not eat that Poultrygeist. I've just put it in my mouth and I have no drink left and no milk. And I'm like, waiter, I need milk and bourbon. Like now. Because I'm not going to spit it out. I mean, I'm not that guy. And they are literally crying, laughing at me. And I'm like, oh, no, fuckers. You're eating the rest of this. You're both eating it now. And they ate it. And I mean, tears and snot bubbles and everything. And I'm like, yeah, you're going to feel the pain I feel. And then we all went and got ice cream.
So I have a claim to fame for Party Foul. All right. Well, one, I'm friends with the owner. So I'm a little biased, I guess, when it comes to their chicken because I do frequent Party Foul quite a bit. But when they opened their Donelson location, myself, Zach Allen from Buddy Allen Carpet One, and Chris Graves from Buddy Allen Carpet One, we were the very first customers. When they opened those doors, we were the first ones in there. And so Chris and I, we kind of prided ourselves on eating hot things. Chris had always had a garden that was full of ghost peppers and everything else. He had some hybrid peppers one time that touching them, the pepper on my finger burnt like freaking fire. And we would take off slivers of that and eat it on pizza. But it was stupid, honestly, because it freaking hurt. It was never good. But anyway, so when we went into this first time, we were like, okay, we're going to try. We want Nashville hot. We got 4 tenders. 2 of them are Nashville hot. 2 of them are Poultrygeist, which honestly, that's an amazing play on words. That's a great damn name for your hottest chicken, Poultrygeist.
Yeah. Anyway, I get it. So
we eat the 2 Nashville hot. Now, Chris is able to handle the hot stuff a little bit better than I am. Both of us are kind of sweating after these 2 things. The flavor's fantastic. So we get into these Poultrygeist tenders, and I eat one, and I'm like, oh wow, that tastes really good. And it wasn't 15 seconds later, I couldn't even feel my tongue.
Oh yeah,
it was so hot. And I have seen people eat these things and they're like, oh, this is great. And they're popping it up. And when they serve it, they're serving it on a piece of
those people
Texas
have no soul.
toast sourdough bread. And
they have no soul.
Sopping it up and they're eating the sourdough bread. And I'm just
they have no soul.
I just don't know how the hell they do it, dude, because
the devil took their soul.
I got through half a tender, and I was lit the hell up, and it was ridiculous.
No, I mean, those people have no soul. That I don't care what they say. They have no soul. They have no taste. Their face is always numb. And if they get punched in the face, it doesn't hurt. I mean, that's just all I can tell them. I mean, I know that I've had a lot of people reach out to me personally. And that's why I was like, okay, I'll start trying some hot chicken. I know that there's a few places that are on my list that I want. Hey, I would love for you to go with me. Obviously Hattie B's, Prince's, and Party Foul.
Yeah.
Puckett's, which is a locally owned restaurant that a good friend of mine, his family started it. And he was like, dude, why have you not done my place yet? I'm like, dude, your family don't even own it anymore. Y'all sold that. He goes, still, I want you to do it. I was like, okay. I've eaten there before, but I haven't tried everything. Puckett's is a very much a country boy type uh, restaurant, so they got a ton. Um, Obviously, we got to go to Loveless Cafe.
Yep.
Loveless
Gotta have
is
the biscuits, baby. Gotta have the biscuits.
got to have the biscuits. They are. I've already had them. They're going to be over a 9 because they are some of the best biscuits I've ever had in my life.
I've got to find out what your damn rating system is because you're like a 9.4.
Dude, 9 is tough for me. 9's
Okay,
tough for
where
me. But those biscuits are 9. And I don't like bread. I do not. Because when I eat bread, I feel full. But those biscuits, you can eat, not feel full for the first hour, and then you're like, oh God, they hit me. Oh, because they expand like 3 minutes later or whatever. Obviously, I've got a great friend that owns Roast Pepper Cantina. And he was like,
I remember meeting you there one time. Yeah,
he was like, I know you're gonna review me at some point. And I'm like, I am, but we already know I'm only gonna review him once we start reviewing alcoholic beverages because they have by far one of the top margaritas you will find not only in Nashville, not only in Tennessee, but probably the world. Top 10 in the world. I mean, it most people think of a margarita and they think it's yellowish green. A good margarita is clear.
Yeah.
And these things come out looking like water.
Well, you know what you got to do.
When you drink it, you better be ready. You better be sitting on your butt and have your belt buckled because it's going to knock your pants off.
When we get into the drinks, when we get into those reviews, we have got to go back over to the GOAT and do that.
Yes, sir.
That John Wayne.
Yes, sir.
What was it? Oh, John Wayne Old Fashioned. I was losing it. My mind was drawing a blank there. But yeah, it was an old fashioned, John Wayne Old Fashioned, and it was completely smoked. They had a piece of bacon is what the garnish was for it. Oh my goodness. I mean, it was amazing. I've got a TikTok video.
There's a few places that I wanted to drinks as well. Bar Louie.
Yeah.
Bar Louie has some good mixed drinks. And I'm not as much a mixed drink person as I used to be, but Bar Louie has some very good mixed drinks. So we're going to do some of those. We've talked about it. I mean, the Hampton Social, great mixed drinks, very good atmosphere. The Lost Patty Irish Pub has some great drinks with some Irish whiskeys. I mean, there's some places in Nashville that if you aren't familiar with, like if you come here, we want you to see not only the food, but also the drinks, places like the Nashville Tap House, which has great selection of some brew type, some beer type stuff. Mayday Brewery in Murfreesboro, Cedar Glade in Murfreesboro has a ton of import beers that you're not going to find just anywhere.
You would introduce me to the guy that owns Mayday about a year ago, I guess, year and a half ago.
Yeah, I mean, these are people. Mayday, Mayday does a lot more of their own brewing, where Cedar does a lot more. Cedar Glade does a lot more of importing from other people. But I mean, Mayday is the owner is a great, story. He worked for the health industry or the healthcare industry for a long time, and decided that he also wanted to give back to the community and have a cool spot for his own brews. So I mean, Ozzy is his name. Ozzy's a great guy, and he can brew some great beers. His sours are some of the best sours I've ever had, and I'm not a sour drinker, and I'm definitely not a beer drinker on the front end, but those sours that he'll come up with like a peach sour or a watermelon sour. And you're like, man, watermelon sour doesn't even sound good. And then you have it and you're like, geez, man, this thing's got that sweet on the front end, smack on the back end. And you're like, man, I actually want another one of these. And I'm I'm not a beer guy, but hey, they're good. They're super good. So
Well, you know, and
Ozzy,
places like that, like I'm pretty sure Rusty would let us come out and do one of our shows from there, where we can actually be in the thick of it, right in the middle
sure.
of all the brew tanks and all the customers that they got coming in and out. I'd love to get some footage of, just the folks that are there that are experiencing it, that are especially the ones that are experiencing it for the first time. I would love to have a full, footage on that. But not only that, not only, Mayday, but and for sure Party Foul, knowing that I know, that I'm friends with Austin or whatever. But I would love to get in on some of these places that are, when you think of Nashville, whether it's Nashville's food or whether it's Nashville's drinks or whether it's, the place to go, what pub do you hit? Where's the karaoke? Where's this at? I would love to actually go and sit down and let's do our podcast there, because the folks that are following us, let's be honest, those folks are wanting to learn and know more about Nashville. So let's go and do those podcasts in those places. And that, I think that's going to be a
Yeah,
fantastic.
I think it's a great idea. I love it. Um, that said, let's move on to some Titans coaching stuff. If you haven't followed up, there's been a lot of news in the last week over Titans coaching. Obviously, Brian Callahan is our new head coach,
Yep,
but
yep, yep.
his dad, Browns Bill Callahan, has been given permission to join his son's staff. He is probably going to be our new offensive line coach. He is one of the top offensive line coaches in the league. That said, we have a new defensive coordinator
Defensive
who came
coordinator. Yep, yep.
who came from where did he come from? The Ravens.
Came from the Ravens, but he's
Came from the
also
Ravens. Yeah,
spent a couple
Denard.
seasons with the Eagles. Yeah.
Yep, Denard Wilson is his name. But would anybody, if you tell me that nobody is hiring Mike Vrabel, are you surprised?
Yes and no. I am surprised because really, I mean, he's still a good coach, but I'm also not surprised because I know the kind of BS that was going on with this team because of him. And there's a lot of folks out there like, oh, he was going to be the top one or two picks, but he's not. He still
Nope.
don't have a position to go to.
Nope. We're now done with head coaching, and he is not getting a job. I said it as soon as it happened. Did not think he was a good head coach, and I thought he would have some issues. And it looks like I was right. I mean, I think he's going to have a hard time finding a coordinator's position. I think he takes a year off and drops down to college.
I see him dropping to college. That's what I think.
I think that he has very much given a vibe of it's my way or the highway, and you aren't allowed to have an opinion in this league. And that's not going to work with guys that are making more money than you. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what happens, but I think his days as head coach are over and done.
I think they are too. Titans made a great decision. And honestly, I don't know how much this deal with Denard Wilson was pushed on Callahan. I feel like it kind of was, because there's been some for lack of better terms, there's been some people that Rand has wanted that he is kind of pushing that way. So
Sure.
but I'm not upset with this decision at all with Denard Wilson. Denard Wilson, as a defensive coordinator, is really a fantastic choice. He's been in this season. He's been in the NFL for 12 seasons. He has really done a great job with the Eagles. He had the number one pass defense with the Eagles, leading to the Super Bowl for that year. He did. I think he spent like 3 or 4 years with the Jets, where he did a good job. he's really proven himself.
No, I
And
mean, he's
I feel
worked his
like
way up through the rankings, right?
this is a great choice, but I wonder how much of an influence Rand had on Callahan actually picking him.
Oh, I think it was huge. I think that him and Amy looked at it and said, we need pizzazz, we need spark, we need flair. Who do we get? And he was the first person they interviewed twice, and he was the end up hire. I mean, I think they knew all along, like, his ability to develop an offense. And then they interviewed him, and he said something like, I may hire an offensive coordinator, but it's my offense. Like, he's going to run my offense.
Yeah.
And when that happened, they were like, you're our guy. Like, you're it. Like, and as soon as they hired him, as soon as they gave him the second interview, they did not have any more interviews. Like, that was it. So,
yeah.
And
I was just looking it up as we pulled off of here, just seeing if there was any kind of new updates or whatever. So apparently, if the meeting goes well, Mike Vrabel might be the new defensive coordinator for the Cowboys.
Good luck with that.
All right.
That said, I mean, I think the Titans could be hiring Tal Tolbert as their new wide receivers coach. If you don't know who Tal Tolbert is, I mean, he's had 6 different teams in his NFL career as, you know, not as coordinators, but as, you know, coaching, moving up through the ranks. And he chose the Titans over 3 other destinations. Now here's the weird thing. Here's the thing that baffles me when I look at it. He's coming into the Titans with pretty much Kyle Phillips, Wes Brookakine, and oh gosh, who was their pick before Phillips? Burks. That's not, I mean, now granted, we had Hopkins last year, but it was a 1-year deal. Does Brian look at Tal Tolbert and say, hey, we're going after T. Higgins, we're going after we're gonna keep DeAndre, we're gonna go after Marquise Brown, you know, we're gonna give you wide receivers to work with. Amy has said she wants a team that can build a championship when that stadium opens. Now that's 2 years away, but does that give us 1 year to work and then 1 year to be ready? I don't know. I mean, that's a good question.
You got to wonder. You got to wonder if that's how they're looking. I mean, I don't know.
Hey, it makes sense. You get wide receivers in here to surround your new quarterback. You get a couple offensive linemen that are, you know, maybe one free agent, one rookie. Then you got Skronk from last year. And because they're saying Ott is the number 7 pick. That's where we're at. That gives you 2 years to work on line, 2 years to work on wide receivers, 2 years to get some free agents. So maybe playoffs next year's, you know, Super Bowl run the following year, the year the stadium opens. I mean, remember this. Now, this is a strange situation. The Titans came from Houston. They had that year and a half in limbo where they played at Vanderbilt and Memphis, and it didn't really work well. And then we had the magic, the Music City Miracle, the new stadium. Everything was opening. And I mean, let's be serious, that was 24 years ago. Do we see a repeat 26 years after?
It's terrible. Golly, it really was that long ago.
I mean, it was, but
can you remember watching the game? Were you watching the game when it happened?
I was actually working at the time. I was working in Rivergate Mall, if you remember. I was a manager of Made in the Shade Wireless, and I was working on that Sunday. I had the radio on, and when it happened, I literally jumped up in the middle of Rivergate Mall, and I'm yelling and screaming. And everybody's looking at me like, what the freak is this guy doing? And I'm like, we won. And they're like, who's we? You know? And I'm like, and I can remember Jeff Fisher saying, there are no flags on the field. It's a miracle. And then
That
I
wasn't
remember
Jeff
him.
Fisher.
I
Jeff
do
Fisher.
remember him. I do remember him going to replay. And I sat down and I'm listening
That was
to the
Mike
radio.
Keith.
I'm listening to the radio like this. I'm just waiting to hear if there's good news or bad news because I didn't see it. I could not see it. This was 99. We didn't get videos on phone until 2000.
Yeah.
So literally, I could not see the replay. There was no internet on the kiosk that I was at. So I just had to sit there and listen. And I remember Fisher saying, they reviewed it. It is a touchdown. The miracle stands. And I mean,
Fisher was the coach. It wasn't Fisher.
sorry, Fisher. It was
Mike Keith.
it was Mike Keith. And Keith was ecstatic. He was screaming and crying and everything else. It was such a the call was I mean, heck, it's in the top 10 of all calls ever. You know,
I was sitting there. It was me and my wife, my cousin, and his girlfriend at the time. And we were sitting there, we were watching it, and my wife got pissed off. She walked out of the room. I was like, nope, we're watching. I'm going to sit here. We're going to finish this game out. We're going to watch this. And man, who was that? It was Dyson, wasn't it? Kevin Dyson?
yeah,
That made the actual pass.
because it was supposed to be Mason.
Yes.
Mason was out with a concussion. His backup was out with cramps. And Fisher goes to Dyson. He goes, hey, I need you to do the home run throwback. And he goes, you know what you're supposed to do? He goes, Coach, I never really paid attention in practice. And he goes, okay, you're going to be on this side of the field. You stay 5 yards behind the ball, no matter what. And then the play of the game was Lorenzo Neal telling Frank Wycheck, they're probably going to kick it to me. Stay behind me. I'm throwing you the ball. And you see Lorenzo feel the ball, and somebody else is trying to come up and grab it. And Lorenzo takes one step and turns and throws it to Frank. And then Frank takes one step and throws it to Dyson. And Dyson is not 5 yards behind the ball. He's like quarter yard behind the ball. Yeah, quarter yard at most. But then as soon as Dyson catches it, it's wide open. I mean, it's a wall. It's the perfect play. Like they all went for Wycheck and it worked out perfectly. I mean, and the Bills are known for forever not being able to get to the Super Bowl.
Well, and you know that entire time period for like 4 or 5 years there, the Bills were so dominant and they would get to the point in the playoffs and then just choke every year. And so, you know, I mean, yeah. But yeah, Music City Miracle, absolutely. If you ever have an opportunity, go out and Google it, pull up the video and watch it. It's absolutely phenomenal. It was a wonderful thing to watch as a Titans fan in live and in color. But yeah, absolutely go and Google that. But you know, getting back to some of Callahan's hires. So, you know, we've got a great choice now with defensive coordinator. We've got a great choice. I really do like him hiring Tolbert. Tolbert, you know, him being fired by the Bears last month, you know, honestly, he brings a wealth of experience with him to Nashville. I mean, he's been a coach.
Agreed.
Yeah, he's been a coach at the professional level since 2003. He's held multiple college jobs before that. The Bears passing attack improved from dead last in 2022 to number 27 in 2023. In addition to that, Bears wideout DJ Moore had a career best season.
Sure. I mean, you can't argue with DJ Moore's stats this year. I mean, they were phenomenal.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm happy with this choice. I really am. I'm honestly, since the day they fired Vrabel, I've been happy with every freaking choice they've made. Let's go. Come on, let's go Titans, man. Let's see what happens. So I can't complain about anything they've done yet, man. Nothing.
No, I mean, it's it's been a very interesting off season. I mean, obviously the uh the firing of Vrabel took a lot of people by surprise.
Yeah, for
Did
sure.
didn't take me by surprise much. Like I had a feeling just because I know some people in the organization. The rumblings coming out of it were very much a he's not a player's coach type thing. He pisses a lot of people off. He does a lot of stuff that's just like it's my way or the highway. And that even goes with management. And I mean, hey, if you want to do my way or the highway with players, that's one thing. You go my way or the highway with management, and they're like, it's my team, bro. Get the fuck out. Like that,
Yeah.
go. See you later. So I'm sure one of the big things that was my way or the highway was the quarterback situation. I mean, he was very much a Malik guy, and Malik does not look like he is him.
That's
And obviously Malik is an Iran guy, and Ran obviously now being director of personnel, complete control over personnel. That did not go well with the Vrabel situation, but
it did.
I
Vrabel
do get it.
much
I mean,
control.
that Vrabel comes from that Belichick type coaching system where it's we are the coach and we need to have a big hand in the players.
Yeah.
And that's all well and good as long as you're drafting the right players. The day you stop drafting the right players like Mac Jones, you're gone. Your days are numbered.
Yeah, for sure.
And that goes with Belichick drafting Mac, and that goes with Vrabel drafting Malik. I mean, they both took quarterbacks in the early rounds last 3 years, and both are gone. You got to be held accountable. That's all there is to it.
Well, time's going to tell. We'll see how things go. I think Titans are on the right path. They're making the right hires. They're doing the right things. Good luck to Mike Vrabel. I really do hope that he's the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys because
We'll see. I don't think he makes
let's
it.
be honest, he did a great job at the Patriots as a defensive coordinator. So we'll see. Coming back to Middle Tennessee news, this thing maybe shouldn't be as big a news as it is, but unfortunately, one of Nashville's own, Darius Rucker, Hootie from Hootie and the Blowfish, was arrested in
I knew we
Williamson
were going
County.
there. I knew where you were going.
I knew it. I know. I can't help it. It's a big story for the area.
It is.
It charged with two counts of simple possession and violation of registration.
Listen, these
it
are all
happens to the best of them, man. It's just
they're all misdemeanors.
yep.
10,500 bond, so it's not terrible. That means that one, it wasn't a hard drug, or two, there wasn't enough of the hard drug that it was a sustainable offense. Like it was a very small amount. So if it was cocaine or heroin or a pill or something, it was a very small amount. If it was marijuana, it was less than an ounce. Just by laws of Nashville or Tennessee. Obviously, there was some sort of traffic violation that got him pulled over. Then they realized something was up. If you look at the pictures from his, mugshot, the man looks like he's a little geeky. I'm not, I don't.
Ready for the next hit. Can't say nothing on it. You turned your microphone off again. You're gonna have to quit getting geeky and hit that microphone.
I said I'm not gonna say what he was on. I'm just gonna say he does not look like he has closed his eyelids in a couple of hours. I'll leave that up to you to interpret it. If you can't interpret, well, that's okay.
Well, here's the thing, these
He
stars,
definitely wasn't smoking a cigar.
yeah, whether they're music stars, whether they're sports stars, whatever the case may be, these folks are getting caught with these simple misdemeanor things, and it's blown up and it's made into these huge news stories. Like, oh my gosh, and can you believe it's Darius Rucker? And he got, come on. I mean, let's be honest.
I
It's
mean, why wouldn't you believe it's Darius Rucker?
right.
I mean, the
He's
man's going through a divorce. He's obviously having a hard time. He needs to get his head off of it. I get it. I do. If anybody on this planet gets it, I get it. I've been through 2 divorces. I've had a kid that doesn't talk to me. January has never been my month. I totally get it. Instead, I just choose bourbon.
yes. Well, and, bourbon will take care of you to an extent, but even that can screw you up too.
Sometimes you need a little bit more.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, there's things out there that are more newsworthy than, a high dollar musician getting caught with some marijuana or whatever he was. There's been a couple of incidents around Nashville lately that as far as just kids being caught with loaded guns at school lately.
Sure.
I don't know if you've heard anything about that, but
I did.
There was 2 incidents just on Wednesday at Hunters Lane High School, and the other was at Haynes Middle School. And one of them, there was a shot fired outside by a 13-year-old kid. So
yeah, it's pretty sad.
It's got folks feeling uneasy. They can't believe that there's guns being brought to school. There's folks that are concerned, as well as they should be. But it's just, here's my concern. Why would a musician who got caught with marijuana, and that doesn't say that, but everybody knows that's what it's
right.
freaking.
Well, I don't know about
why
that.
Would a musician with marijuana?
I think it could be a couple of things, but yeah.
Why would that be a bigger news story than the fact that we in one day in 2 Nashville public school systems brought down kids with loaded guns at school? Why is that a bigger story?
Not disagreeing with you. Not disagreeing with it at all. I mean, it's a sad thing, but that's kind of where we are because of his level of popularity, I guess is the best way to describe it. I mean, it just is what it is. I think that right or wrong, it's the level of his popularity that is creating this, news story.
I guess so. Yeah. It just, it is what it is, but it just kills me that these stories are hyped up so much, and it's not anything that normal people out there don't expect these folks to do when they're musicians or sports stars. They're
sure
whatever they are. It's just it doesn't need to be it. So anyway, okay, we're in February. Nashville, Tennessee is huge on Black History Month, and celebrating Black History Month for February. So one of the things that they've got going on that I thought was really cool, and I'm sure you probably think this is really cool as well. To celebrate the first day of Black History Month at the National Museum of African American Music by tasting wine and spirits from Black-owned businesses. It's called the Black Souls and Spirits Tasting. It's from 7:30 to 10 Thursday, and will feature live music and exclusive access to the museum.
That'll be cool.
I love this idea, dude. Why are we not all over the top of this?
I'm all for it. I love alcohol.
For real.
Just saying. I'm a fan.
Well, you can get tickets to this thing. They're $40 a piece. That does include 2 drinks with your $40 admission. And so, of course, February is Black History Month. So all month long, the museum is going to feature other events celebrating Black History Month, such as Soul Food Sunday, which I want to be a part of that. And of course, you can check out.
I love soul food too, by the way.
Absolutely.
Love
But
it.
you go to the website for the museum's event calendar and learn more. Again, that's the National Museum of African American Music that is here in Nashville. And just, of course, you can just Google them, look them up, and they've got a good a calendar on there that says everything they're going to do. But wine tasting and spirits, I'm all over that. Let's do it.
I love it.
Let's
I think it's a great idea. Let's go.
So anyway, well, we got some politics that have been going around, you know, some things that are affecting Middle Tennesseans, things that are affecting the nation as a whole. You know, of course, right now, one of the biggest stories out there is the fact that Texas is standing up to the federal government, and they are bringing in the National Guard, and they are shutting down the border. 23 different states, both red and blue alike, have decided to join in on this and stand in solidarity against the federal government. Man, what's your thoughts on this?
Dude, it has been a how do I say it? It has been a vilifying situation for Texas because they took a stand that a lot of people thought would backfire, and most of America is behind them. I mean, it's crazy that our solidarity and our independence is being trampled upon by the left. I mean, if you didn't see it last week, a guy comes across the border. He's interviewed by a TV station, and he says, America, you do not know what's coming for you, but I am here and I'm going to change your world. Turns out he was a top 10 terrorist on the terrorist watch list and literally walks across the border and is interviewed by TV. Yeah. Because we're that naive and we're that stupid and we just allow it. And I mean, now Biden is saying things like, "Oh, we're going to close the border, and you know, we should lock it up a little bit. We're going to have a war on this." And you know, Joy Behar is like, "Oh, great, another war, another fucking war." But it's sad that we had to get to this part where if we would have listened to previous administration 3-4 years ago, they had a plan and it was working. And it was slowing it down. But now, I mean, you know, it's like they said, hey, everybody's a Democratic voter at some point. You're either alive or dead.
And I think that's the thing that's killing me the most about it right now is the rhetoric that's being put out there is the fact that, oh, we have a plan. We know how to take care of it. Why are we at the end of this presidential term and we're just now saying that and just now
because it's an election season.
Well, sure. Yeah, I understand that part of it. But here's my thing. This is a true, clear, for lack of the freaking cliche use of this damn phrase, it is a clear and present danger.
Agreed, 100%.
100% a clear and present danger. And this is something that, you know, Trump, for his victories and for his flaws, he was all over this. Okay. You can love him, you can hate him, you can say he was terrible, you can say he was great. I don't really care. He was all over this. And he had some great plans for taking care of this, and they were implemented and they were actually working. And so, you know, now we've got Mayorkas that is possibly being impeached because of his lack of anything, his lack of anything. He's not doing anything.
He hasn't done anything. I mean,
right. So, you know, it's a terrible situation. It's a horrible situation down there because of the fact that I realize there's folks that need that sanctuary. They need to be able to come in. They need to get away from whatever they had. They're trying their best. They're doing them. But you know what? That's not the situation for all of them that come through. That's not the situation for half of them that come through there. So there has to be some sort of vetting. There has to be some sort of a wall that is set up and and I don't say wall as to, allude to what's been going on in presidential debates for the last freaking 8 years, but there has to be something in there that vets these folks that are coming into this country so that we know who it, because that person that was that, if you have not Googled that video, it is, he is for plain and true right up there, tells you who he is and what organization he is with. They know, they find out who he is. He is dangerous. He is somebody that you don't want running free in the middle of America because he crossed somewhere that was
100%. 100%.
getting worked up. Sorry.
It's all good. I get it. I mean, I totally get it. It is what it is. I mean, we are at that precipice where, we know it's an election year. We get it, but in the same sense, it doesn't make it any better. I mean, we're still fighting the same fights that everybody else is. I mean, we just got to be smart about it, and it sucks, but it is.
And
what
here's
it
what
is.
happens every time. You've got one side that's in power, and they come in and they say, we can do these things, and these things are going to make this situation better. And the other side says, well, if you do those things, they're going to be so detrimental because of this. And nobody does a damn thing but fight back and forth the whole freaking time. And then here comes an election season. Oh, yeah, by the way, we're going to do this. And the other side says, oh, well, they never did that. They've had this whole time. It's the partisan BS in this entire thing is so detrimental to this country.
Sure.
And I really just wish we could get candidates in there and folks in there. That's one of the things I like about Donald Trump is he don't give two flips what anybody thinks
Yeah.
about
Yeah,
what he
there's
says,
nothing.
does, or feels. And if we could get somebody in there that could feel that way and do that way without pissing everybody off, that'd be great. But just saying,
That'd be nice.
yeah, that'd be nice. So
That'd be
anyway,
nice.
obviously that whole situation gets me a little heated, but yeah, it's ongoing. Again, Texas is, if you haven't been following, Texas is pulling in the National Guard to close down the border. The federal government has done anything and everything in their power to thwart that. 23 other states, both red and blue alike, have stepped up and taken the side of Texas. So not only does that tell you the unity that the states are starting to take on this particular issue, but it also shows you the division inside the Democratic Party of the ones that are paying attention and the ones that are not.
Sure. No, I agree. I mean, it's the fact that we've got people that aren't paying attention in either party is very disturbing. Very disturbing. I mean, we're at a spot. It's an election year. I get it. Everybody wants to get their soundbite in or their 30 seconds, but we got people that literally don't care about that. They're just trying to win an election. And I mean, you're not going to win elections if you're having bad sound bites or supporting the wrong ideas. So good luck.
Well, I definitely don't want to get too political, too one-sided. I like to try to keep things as center of the board as they can possibly be. Sometimes you can't do it. Sometimes the pronounced information that comes out is so one-sided that you just can't understand why the other side even has a viewpoint. But anyway, we'll move on from that. Moving on from that, listen, I'm gonna, as a realtor, it is my job to give off how things are going here in the Nashville area for our listeners, California, for our listeners, New York, and for everybody everywhere that is realizing what a wonderful place Nashville is to move to. So currently right now, here's the state of the market in the Nashville area. We are still in a seller's market. We are looking at about 2.5 months worth of inventory. So let me tell you what that means. That means if nobody else for the remainder of the year put anything on the market, not a single house was put on the market in 2.5 months, everything that we have would be gone. So that is not a lot of inventory. Okay. So a nice healthy inventory is 3.5, 4 months, 4.5 months, somewhere in that area. So we are half that currently. The rates are doing much better as far as buyers are concerned. Here's the upside and the downside to that. Okay, the rates are dropping. They have dropped twice. I'm expecting them to drop twice more before the summer. I'm expecting a singular drop in the next month or so. Now, again, I hope this ages well, and that's actually what happens, but that's what I'm expecting. And so here's an upside and here's the downside. So the rates drop for the buyers. That's great. Now you're going to jump in. You are going to be able to get a great monthly price on the mortgage that you get. Here is the downside to the rates dropping further and buyers waiting longer before they jump in. As the rates drop, I can guarantee you if there is a 5 in front of that percent sign on that rate, if it is a 5 point whatever, everybody that has been waiting is going to jump in this market and try to get themselves a place while these rates are in the 5s. What that's going to do, our 2.5, almost 3 months worth of inventory is going to drop back down to a month. Everything that's there, the price is going to go through the roof because there's not anything. It's the whole supply and demand. A huge demand because everybody's getting great rates. They're going to jump back in. The supply is terrible because everybody's buying everything. Where's that going to? That's going to put us back at multiple offers. That's going to put us back at people not doing home inspections. That's going to get us back to people offering 25, 30, 45, $100,000 over the list price.
Sure.
Folks, you are wanting to buy a house. Get in the market before this stuff happens. You can quote me on this. It will age well. I have no doubts about it. When we get into the major spring market, when we get closer to summer, rates are going to be down. Inventory is going to be low. The market's going to be crazy.
I'm seeing more and more inspection reports on things that are very minor. I mean, and I'm thinking, you're worried about a drywall crack? Like, it doesn't say inspection needed by certified contractor. It says may want to replace, may want to patch. When we get to that spot that you're talking about, the things that are going to get passed by are have a general contractor check for faulty foundation, or have a general contractor evaluate to see if this needs to be repaired, or have a certified HVAC guy check to see if unit is operational for more than 5 years.
Here's the thing. Right now, buying right now, folks that are going under contract right now can get that. They can get with their GC. They can have an inspection report come in. They can have things fixed. They can have the seller take care of things. Sometimes the sellers give cash in lieu of repairs. Sure, I know that lenders don't want to hear that, but you know what? That happens.
Sure.
But what is going to happen when we get back into this multiple offer situation, when all of these buyers get back into the market, you're either you're going to have big dummies, and it's exactly what they are, big dummies that don't have a home inspection. If you have a realtor that tells you to waive your home inspection, dude, you better drop him like a freaking bad habit and move on.
Agreed. 100%.
the 100% furthest away from a home inspection that you should go is what is called a pass-fail inspection. And what that
100% agree.
is, yes, what that is you have an inspection period, okay? You send an inspector out to the house. That inspector goes out, he does his complete, full 100% inspection, okay? And then he gives you all the information. Now, every inspector in the world is going to give you a book. Even if that house was built 3 months ago, you're going to have a book of things that need to be fixed because one, let's be honest, they want to make sure that you think they did their job. And two,
Right.
there's builders out there that are freaking lazy and this shit is actually, I'm sorry, this stuff is actually needs to be fixed. Okay, so
Agreed.
what a pass fail inspection is means you're going to have the inspection and you're looking for foundation issues, you're looking for roof issues, you're looking for black mold, you're looking for things that are huge major issues. We don't care if the GFCI outlet doesn't work. We don't care if the banister going down the front steps is loose. We don't care if there's a crack in the sidewalk. All of that stuff right there is honey-do list and can be taken care of. So before we get back to that situation, before we get back to the pass fail, which as the buyer, you can look at that inspection report and you can say, okay, it passes. I'll take care of everything. Or B, it fails. We're moving on. I'm not taking care of this house. That it's doesn't benefit both sides. A good real estate transaction
Exactly.
will benefit both sides. Okay, so before we get back to that situation where we are doing pass fail inspections, where we are getting rid of our contingencies in order to get our offer taken care of, get in there, look for the house that you want, find the house that you want, have a true inspection done, and then go through the straight negotiations with a seller and say, I would like this, 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 and this repaired. Now, again, the seller doesn't have to. They don't
Sure.
have to repair anything that you ask for. They could tell you to kick rocks if they want to.
Exactly.
Buy it. But right now, there are so few buyers because of the rates that most sellers are going to step in and they're going to say, oh yeah, sure, I'll fix that. Now everybody that I use, and Donnie, I know it, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. I send everybody to Donnie. This man right here can fix anything, everything. And I don't ever have to worry about whether or not it's, up to code, whether or not it's taken care of.
Here's the thing. If it's going to be a pass fail, it's pretty simple. Codes has given it a reason for it to be pass fail. If it is a black or white issue, you either have black or white. It's not a complicated situation. It either says that, we had a call this week and they said you recommended them. I don't believe you did. I think that was a scam. But she was like, well, this post, I think it just needs the rust sanded off and painted. And I said, well, what does the inspection report say? And she goes, well, it doesn't, I have a guy that says, I said, I didn't ask you that. What does the inspection report say? And the inspection report said that piers such as this support the deck, which this was off of a deck, and that rust and deterioration from rust, such as this, should be repaired by a certified contractor.
Yeah.
That doesn't tell me we sand the rust off and paint it. That tells me I either need to replace the pier or I need a sleeve around the pier with a concrete block underneath that supports it. When I told her this, she said, well, that's not. And then she gave me some other excuses, like her inspector was young and he told her he didn't know what it was houses. He didn't know much about houses. And I was like, doesn't really sound like an inspector. Like I've never had an inspector say, I went through training. I paid a bunch of money to get my certificate, and then I'm gonna come to your house and tell you I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That tells me you want me to do some shady shit. And when I said, hey, how about you send me the inspection report? She didn't want to do that. And she wouldn't give me her address. She wouldn't give me her name. And I'm like you said, kick rocks. Like,
Right.
go kick rocks, because it's not worth my time or my reputation. And she kept saying stuff like, between me and you. No, there is no between me and you. I have insurance and I have a business, and my fanny is on the line with that. And if I do some stuff that's shady or not up to code, then it's my butt that's responsible for it. So when somebody asks me to do some stuff that's beyond code, I just tell them you got the wrong guy. Go find
Look, here's
go find a
here's
Facebook guy.
here's the most important part of this segment that listeners need to take into consideration is, one, get a home inspection. If you are buying
Exactly.
a house, get a home inspection. Do not
Pass fail at least.
means ever waive that. Make sure that you are getting a home inspection. And then once you have that home inspection taken care of, look, it's my personal belief that you can find things wrong with everything. There's not a house out there, no matter how new, how old, that does not have something that is wrong with it. But when you are going into a situation where you're buying a house, you're not going into this situation to get your honey-do list taken care of. Okay. No. You are looking for the issues. You're looking for the major issues. It's like I said a minute ago, you're looking for the foundation issues. You're looking for the roof issues. You're looking for the black mold. You're looking for things that are detrimental not only to the value of the house, but are detrimental to the function of the house. Okay, so get your home inspection. Don't worry about that honey-do list, but if you have things on that inspection that are a major problem, something that needs to be taken care of immediately, you need to work out negotiations. Hopefully you've got a great realtor that will negotiate with the other side, with the seller side, to get these things fixed. Now, if you go into this situation, let's say they got a foundation issue, there's cracks, there's sagging joists, whatever the case may be. If you go into this situation and the seller does not want to work with you whatsoever, then it comes down to it's up to you. Do you want to take on this risk and have things fixed on your side of it? Or do you want to say, you know what? Okay, this is not worth it.
At that point, you're evaluating risk versus reward. If you think that this house is your dream house, your prima donna, or you think this house is going to escalate in value, and if you spend 40 now, it's worth 80 later, that's a choice you get to make. But if you don't have that inspection, and you think I'm paying $450 for a house that's worth $470, but then you find out later you got to spend $70 on foundation and other improvements just to make it livable, then your $470 is $540 and you're not getting $490. Or if you are getting $490, you're still getting a $60,000 loss. So $50,000 loss. You get to decide. If you have the inspection, then you get to decide, is it worth it? If you don't have the inspection, then you're playing craps, and the odds are never with you. I mean, there's a reason why Vegas loves craps.
That's the truth. So, here, a short story or long story short, I guess is the best way to say this. Long story short, if you're looking to buy a house right now, you can get inspections, full inspections. Right now, you can get the sellers to repair the things that need to be repaired. Right now, you have the ability to get closing costs. Right now, you are not going up against 10 people that are all trying to get the same house.
Sure.
Right now is the best time to buy a house. And so many people say, you know what? Oh, you're a realtor. You say that right now is always the best time. Sure, I understand why you think that. But I'm telling you right now is the best time, because as soon as these rates drop, folks, these rates are dropping. They're going to drop. And as soon as there's a 5 on that 30-year fixed loan, everybody and their Uncle Sam is jumping in this market. And there's not going to be inventory, and the house pricing is going through the roof, and you're going to go through 5, 6, 7 houses before you get one, because there's going to be so many multiple offers.
And here's the other thing about right now. Right now in the national average isn't right now in the Nashville average. Nashville is going to peak before everybody else does. And that's because Nashville is one of the top 10 hottest markets in the nation. So we're going to see the jump before everybody else does, meaning we have more people coming in than going out. So when we see a jump before everybody else, it's a precursor to the market jump. So let's say it hits low sixes, like let's say 6.03 or even 5.95.
I was going to say, because yeah, we're at 6.1 right now.
6.1. Let's say it's hit 6.01, 5.98. We're going to see that jump before, say, Dallas, Houston, Phoenix.
Oh, for sure.
Charlotte. Sure. And those are some of the other hotter markets, but we're going to see it first.
For sure.
That means by the time you think, well, I'm waiting for it to hit 5.8. By the time it hits 5.8, you're 300 people behind, 300 families behind the other people that were just waiting it for 6.0 or 6.04 or 6.01 or 6.02. So you waited 300 buyers behind you. And on average, I think Nashville sells what, 160 houses, or Middle Tennessee sells 160 houses per month.
It's more than that. It's more than that.
Is it more than that? So let's say it's 300 houses. That means you are a month behind everybody else.
Well, let's just be honest. We get to 5.8 and we are back into the situation we were having during the COVID pandemic, where we have so many buyers.
Hey, I love the COVID pandemic. Made a lot of money.
Well, I mean, yeah, and in real estate I did as well, but we get to 5.8 for a 30-year fixed rate, and there's so many buyers in this market. There's not going to be any damn thing for inventory.
That's true.
The house prices are they're going to, you realize from the end of 2019, right around the beginning of 2020 through 2022, in Middle Tennessee alone, the house prices rose 87%.
That's a lot of rise.
87%, dude. That is a crazy number. Now, in the situation that we're in right now, where we've been riding in the 6s, 7s, the 8s, if we get to a 5.8, I don't see an 87%, but you know what I do see? 60, 55, 60, sure. 65, 100% sure. See that. 100% see that. Those prices will go back up, and we'll be in a seller's market where sellers are getting whatever the hell they want, and they're getting over asking prices, and they're getting no contingencies. They're getting all cash, and all these folks coming in from California and everywhere else are getting these great deals on these houses, because let's be honest, they don't see anything that cheap. They don't see a house that big for that cheap in California.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the thing. that you should take away from this entire conversation. Right now, between now and March, if you are wanting to buy a house, if you know you're buying a house, you're in the market to buy a house this year, do it. If you're going to sell your house, I would say somewhere between the end of this month and April is the optimal times to do that, because the folks are going to realize what's going on. The buyers are going to realize what's going on in the market, and they're going to start jumping in, and sellers are going to start making whatever the hell they want. So take it with a grain of salt. I am a realtor. I do benefit from these markets. So, I can understand why people say, well, that's why you're saying it. Look, I make an ass ton of money like it is. I don't need to do anything different in my career, in my marketing, or anything else to make more money than I need to make. The things that I'm saying right now are the things that need to be said to folks who are sincerely wanting to know about the market, sincerely looking into it. Right now is the time to buy. Right now. Give it a month. That's the time to sell. Go for it. Knock it out. Make some money. You're going to do it. This year is going to be a fantastic year for real estate, for not only real estate professionals like realtors and investors, but for people in general that are buying and selling. It's going to be a fantastic year.
Nope, I agree. I agree 100%. I think it's going to be a really interesting situation that we start running into as the market changes. So, we'll see how it goes. And hey, I want to wish everybody the best. I hope you listened to us and you learned. And if not, well, hey, we gave you our advice,
For sure.
Good luck.
Well, we want to thank everybody for taking the time to listen to us this week. And today is February 1st. So our commitment was to try to start getting some guests in for the month of February. And I think we're going to be able to try to do that starting next week. I will probably jump on and get on our YouTube account and leave a short video of who that's going to be. Because as of right now, I'm not 100% certain, but we will have somebody that is our guest for next week. And
Awesome.
I do love Donnie's ideas as far as these food critic things type videos that we've been doing, and we are going to get together and get some of these Nashville-based restaurants, whether it's hot chicken or pizza or some of these other great restaurants that are all Nashville-based, and just getting some true and honest reviews on those. So please tune in to us next week. We will be getting together, I guess, Thursday night next week, right? And
that sounds right.
And recording that night. And so we'll have our guest that's for next week. And stay tuned. Things are only going to get better from here, guys. I tell you what,
I agree.
Each week it's gotten a little bit better and gotten a little bit better. That very first broadcast was a little rough with nothing working, as from the soundboard to the cameras to the mics to the everything broke down on us. But we're starting to get a little bit more. So
everybody, every day.
That's right. So thank you again for tuning in to Music City Mix, all things Middle Tennessee. And I guess we will talk at you later.
Guys, thanks everybody for joining in. And yeah, like Chris said, we appreciate it. Thank you for joining in.